This is Dave from Amplify, and I'm talking to Nicky Bomba. And if you don't know Nicky, you've been asleep for the last 50 years. Nicky's a superstar, leads the Melbourne Ska Orchestra. None of us know how that can possibly work because is it 24? How many people?
But I'm still trying to work it out.
How many people are there?
Well, if it's in Melbourne, it's close to 30, but if it's touring, it's usually around 22, 21, 22, something like that.
And they've toured all around the world. So you work it out. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense commercially. It doesn't make sense
Yeah.
experientially.
It
I
doesn't
mean,
make
it's
sense.
just
Doesn't make sense to my mortgage either.
well, exactly. But that's that's just you got to be Bon Jovi and you've got to run everything. And if you run everything, you make a fortune. And if you're a band that's got six, eight members, I interview a lot of the old timers and all that, the 40-year arena tourers,
Yeah.
and they all tell me that it's a great holiday, but it's a hard way to make a quid.
Oh
And in
yeah,
fact,
totally.
in fact, the Stranglers, what's his
Oh
name from
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Stranglers? He was telling me from Hugh from the Stranglers. He was telling me that um, the U2 had to put on 10 shows at the end of their 50,000 seat, Las Vegas tour to make a quid.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that
That's
that
right.
tells you how expensive it is. Okay,
Oh yeah, totally.
so this is going to be an interview, Nick, and it's going to be a conversation, and you're going to hate most of it, but that's all right. This is the way I like to do it. Just bring things on you. Did
No,
you
mate, no, I'm, I'm,
did
I'm,
you
I'm
realise when you were nine, this girl, and here she is, she's just coming in from the side. How'd the band come together 20 plus years ago? How did it all?
okay.
Because you came
Yep.
from a band background, like
Yeah,
you were working with John and all that sort of stuff.
you're talking
And
about the orchestra, right?
the orchestra, how does the
Okay, good. So
orchestra? Yeah, we'll
I'll tell
talk
you
about the
exactly.
rest later. But
I'll tell you exactly how it happened. Was um, 2003
yeah,
was the 40th anniversary of what was considered the birth of ska. Because in 1963, a song came out called "My Boy Lollipop" by Millie Small.
something else came out in '63 too,
Yeah, I did.
Andy.
Yeah, yeah, I was born exactly. um, and so yeah, I'm a ska child when you think about it.
There you go.
And Chris Blackwell also produced that one. And it was at the time of Jamaican independence, and so '63 was my boy lollipop, and also the end of '63, early '64 was Bob Marley and the Wailers' first hit with "Simmer Down," and these were defined a particular sound, a particular genre that was kind of invented based on all these different things that happened with the sound systems in Jamaica, and they wanted something that was their own, and they called it ska, and it's affected many people. It's created so many different. The UK two-tone thing, the American wave, and so I got into it around the time of the specials and everything, and so by the time 2003 came along, there was enough people that knew that genre and that was playing reggae and ska in Melbourne that we said let's just celebrate, let's do a 40th anniversary bash,
Of
and
course.
we put the word out, and we were inundated with how many people that wanted to be involved in this gig. We thought it was just going to be like a 5 or 6 piece band down in the local pub. It ended up we said no, this is not going to be a band. This is going to be an orchestra. So we booked out the Gershon Room in St Kilda. We put the word out. We had a little rehearsal, and it was kind of something kind of buzzy about it. I was like, this is a really special thing. This sort of we're doing this out of love. No one's going to make any money here. And because of that, you had no egos. You had no. It was kind of like everyone just gets that
It was
this is all about
conscious.
yeah, the celebration of the style and what it makes us feel. So we did that first gig, huge, turned away 300 people. Um, we all came off it so buzzy and high,
How
going,
do you fit in the Gershroom? Because it's not exactly a big stage.
man, I can tell you, my bass player will fucking give you a story about that. How he nearly passed out. Back, he was playing double bass too, and it was hot, man, I tell you. But we made it work. So that after that first night, we thought, we should do this again. We actually wrote a song at the 20th anniversary called "Something Strong" with the orchestra, and the lyrics of that explains exactly what happened and where we are now. So we kept on doing it for every year, um, and then we're kind of getting better at it. And then we got offered Blues Fest, and that's when I kind of I took over the band. I had started the band with this other guy called Moher Slim.
Yeah.
He was kind of started his own business, so he didn't have time. So I bought the name off him, and I kind of became the captain of the orchestra. Lifted up to the point where we could now get the show to a point at an international level because we were going to be competing, on the same bill as a lot of great acts. So I wanted the show to be great, and so we
But
put the
but
show
but but
on.
still, you've got like first of all, you arrive at 24 somewhere. You arrive at mid
Yeah,
20s or something or
yeah,
other.
yeah. 24 it was.
I can't imagine 20 people agreeing on anything because
Well,
basically
this
the
is the
egos
thing.
and all that sort of
Well,
stuff
that's
must be.
that's the thing. Well, that's the thing because we did it as out of love of the genre. I was surprised because I have more problems with a fucking with a four piece than I do with this. But there was something about it, and it's why the band's gone on so long. Is that everyone you can't have an ego in that band. As soon as everyone just shuts you down,
Slap.
and rightly so.
Yeah,
It's either get on or get out.
yeah,
So and when you're in a band room the size of a toilet, and there's 23 of you, and you're face to face, you got to get on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there is something about the band on stage putting out this energy. People, you can see the reaction in the people's faces, and that's something. It's not about you. It's about we're part of something bigger, and it's not often you get that. I mean, like you said, on paper, it's a nightmare, but there's something about this band that's lasted 22 years simply because it started because of a love of the genre and how it affects people and the energy that keeps us going. It's a pleasure to be,
Well,
you know,
well,
yeah, yeah. And
one of the other,
we've
one
had,
of
we've had to we've had to work out a point where we need a good team, we need a good tour manager, a good agent. That's taken time.
the, pardon me,
Bless
but
you. That's taken time.
I run this platform and we've got stacks of photographers, reviewers, and all that sort of stuff. But I do about 99% of the work. So,
Yeah,
ultimately, that must be a big challenge for you as well, because even though there's all these people and all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of organisation, there's a lot of travel, there's a lot of get on stage and set up. There's
mate.
there's
Yeah.
there's
Where do you want to start?
there's sound check and all that sort of gear.
Everything, mate.
And all those other people, as conciliatory as they are, they don't have to take the responsibility of it working or not working, because if it doesn't work, it's Nicky Bomba's name at the top that sort of people are going to say, well,
Well, I
that
mean,
fucked up.
first up, I use my mortgage funds it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's end of the day. I if I don't get it right, I
And
could.
I personally, I think that's very conscious, because ultimately consciousness is about detaching from a conditioned sort of outcome. And so if you believe in the abundance that's everywhere, you don't really need to take a conditioned abundance. You don't need to search for anything. Everything will be there.
I
And so
agree.
if you're using your mortgage, even if you're using it and you end up not leaving your kids, five houses, I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be for them, and they're supposed to go out and deliver their outcome,
That's exactly
etc.
right, man. I mean, I believe in that. I may die with a debt, but that's okay.
It doesn't
Um,
matter.
yeah, because it is about, I mean, look, the older I get, the thing that keeps home, and I've had a lot of friends pass away in the last 6 months, and some
Yeah,
of them in
yeah,
tragic situations.
yeah,
Um, and that's taught me that I know we're all going to die. So and being alive is a pretty amazing trip in the first place. And us being conscious, like not only just having consciousness, and so I trip out on the wonder of life, and then go, okay, well, while I'm on this sphere hurtling through the universe at a stupid speed, orbiting around the sun, for this you know this given sense of time, or this given allotted time. The world has existed way before when I was here, and will exist after I leave.
yeah,
What am I doing? What am I doing with that blink? What am I doing with that?
yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah.
So it's really important for me to dig into that, and that's what gives me joy in life too. The
Yeah, well,
more I
there's a moment, and your collaboration with it, that's all that exists. So
exactly
basically, as you get older, it can get better, because basically you become less detached to all
that's
the
right.
demands that are there. So you're freer, even though your eyesight goes and your back
Yep,
goes and all that
yep,
sort of stuff.
yep,
You're
yep.
a part of every moment, and so you understand the value of every moment. And I think that the thing that amazes most people about gurus is that they become more humble over time, because as they become more present, they become more present to everything that's there and
Exactly.
how small they are in that whole sequence. And so they
Exactly.
think they're
Yeah,
gurus, and the guru thinks that they're nothing, and they're
yeah,
just sort
yeah.
of sitting in the
And
corner.
there is a thing about being playful too with the day. You
Yes,
know, like
yes.
I have little mantras in the morning. I have little ceremonies that I do to
You
make sure.
meditate?
Yeah, well, in my own way, I have a series of um, morning rituals,
Rituals, yeah.
which involves music and exercises. Really simple kind of things that have been totally taught to me by high-end yoga practitioners, but so it's condensed in 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I play a little thing. I and have a sense of what my color is going to be for the day. I don't touch any social media or anything until I don't engage.
I get it. I do the same thing, but
Yeah,
you've got to meditate with the utmost humility. I'm not saying you have to do anything, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
meditation, in my experience, is a connection to source. So
yeah.
it's a pure connection, rather than, you still have thought, but the thoughts aren't the same thoughts that you have when
No,
you're in
that's
a
right.
normal
That,
process. And
what you
so the
said.
longer you silently meditate,
Yeah, totally.
the more you're replenishing the body, and it becomes healthier and healthier and healthier, because in actual fact, the Chinese have this qi process, and it cuts off the thinking part of the brain, and it feeds the other part of the brain, which keeps you getting healthier and healthier, in my
I
view.
mean, I'm a big believer in my philosophy is that we are all manifestations of energy
Yeah.
having a human experience.
Yes.
So my record label, separate to the one that's with the orchestra, which is with ABC, is called Transmitter Records.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the whole philosophy is what are we actually transmitting? What's coming out of
Yeah.
our mouth?
Yeah.
What are we doing with our hands?
Yeah.
What are we doing with our day?
Yes.
How,
Yes.
how, how are we processing information that's coming to us as receivers?
Very
Do we
cool.
take things permanently, personally? Do we let things flow? Do we forgive quickly? Do we have
Yeah.
compassion?
Yeah.
And these are all things that kind of like when you get into those things as guides of your day, a lot of clarity happens and things are good,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer in that. I live in the bush, so daily I have
Where's the bush?
the bottom of in the Ovens Valley, bottom of Falls Creek and Mount Hotham.
Oh, that's
And so,
tough.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I've chosen. I've got my studio here. I'm raising a child, a two
And
and a
does
half.
everyone come up for rehearsal, or what happens?
Well, we have a core group that comes up when we're writing things, and then
And then
it's
you'll
too hard to
travel.
be.
You'll
No,
travel.
then I go to the studio in Melbourne that we go
Oh,
to. Yeah, but a lot of the time it's back and forth, that type of
all
thing.
right.
But I do most of my work here, and being in nature is its own meditation,
Of
right? You
course,
just
of
you
course,
go
of
for you
course,
go for a
of
walk,
course.
and you go for a
It's
bike
it's
ride,
it's
and
it's
you're
it's
connecting. I saw
grand.
7 wallabies yesterday morning going for a bike ride.
Well, I used to do the same thing when I was in Elwood. I used to,
Oh yeah,
walk along the beach every day,
yeah,
and
great.
that was sensational. Okay, how about Nicky Caruana from Malta, who barracked for the Bombers? Yeah,
Well, first of all, it's you say
Joa
like you say
Gypsy,
you,
Joa
you say it like marijuana, but with a C, caruana.
Caruana. Is
Okay.
it?
Well, I just got back from Malta. See, like that part of my legacy. I was born there, born in Malta, came to Australia, had 2 children.
You were one,
No, 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 no. When I
when you
came here, I was 2 years old. Yeah, two
2
years
years
old.
old.
But then I grew up here, had kids. My son, who's now 36, has gone back to Malta and has opened up a couple of restaurants there. He
Sensational.
loved it so much, right? So, and I'm bringing up another child now. I've got a 2.5-year-old. So
Oh my
I've got a
God.
40-year-old, a 36-year-old, a 19-year-old, oh sorry, 20-year-old granddaughter, and now a 2.5-year-old.
You
It's amazing. It's given me joy again too. But the Malta connection is huge because the Maltese ethic, and the Bomber was just a nickname. I still celebrate the Caruana name a lot, and my brother's in my band, Michael Caruana. So we're all constantly doing that. Um, the Maltese like to party, right? They like that, and they'll make something out of nothing, because during the war, in the bunkers, in the bomb shelters, they would go, look, we're alive, we got some food, we're all okay.
with
Let's
plenty.
celebrate life, So that ethic has come through. Also, the Jamaican which is the ska, you know, that's all comes from the Jamaican culture. They have a thing of making stuff up on the spot. There's even a thing called ex-tempo and calypso, right, where they have jams where who can make up the best things as quick as possible. And there's a whole thing in Malta called spiritu prompt, which is exactly the same thing, quick spirit, where you make up something about the local villager, but it's always humorous. It's always like a bit of tongue in cheek. They're having a go, you know. But it's always with the sarcastic tongue in cheek, you know. And then they do the same to you. Yeah, but look at your goats. You know, they wouldn't be worthy of whatever. And so it's and that tradition. When I started listening to reggae music and went over to Jamaica and everything, was like, man, this is just like in Malta. Everyone's got a song. Everyone's making fun of everybody else. So the whole ska thing and the whole political comment, or social comment, and making things up on the spot and being spontaneous. For me, it's just it was a beautiful mix.
Okay, so Mama Kin's your sister, and we know Mama Kin because she's an artist. Did you introduce her to John?
No, she met John and I had met John. I had played with John previously because he was doing a gig, and I was doing another gig. And then she went to Fremantle and she met him in the street, and then they all met. And then, we obviously, we knew each other, family and everything. And then at some point, John wanted to really get into reggae, and I played drums most of my life, and reggae was a big part of my thing, was with the Ross Hannaford Trio, with Double Dub, with with Bomba and all that type of thing, reggae and funk. And so there was a time when John wanted to dig deep into.
We're talking about John Butler, by the way.
John Butler. He wanted to get into reggae and the Bob Marley thing and the kind of Jimi Hendrix experience, but with a reggae kind of thing. And so even the first song that was his first real big hit, Zebra, was a combination of Zeppelin, right, and Raga, Zep Ra. So we brought it together and we said, Zebra, is it a black horse with white stripes or a white horse with black stripes?
Boom, boom.
And that was the essence kind of that song. It was a real hybrid. So, and that was great. I loved doing that. But I realized that while I was on his ship doing all that stuff, there was the Melbourne Ska Orchestra ship, ready to go without the captain.
Yeah.
So I had to go back and
make
take
a choice.
Yeah.
What about Fugitive Flight in '78? You were 15.
I'll tell you, man, no, forget 15, man. I was 6 years old, right? When it was, I'll tell you what happened. My dad bought a drum kit when I was 6 years old, and on the drum kit, on the drum kit had the word, the band name, The Fugitives. And my dad thought, well, if you buy the drum kit, you get the name. So we started the band
like a good Maltese person.
Yeah. So we got the band name. We called it the Fugitives.
He used to take shopping trolleys home because he'd put the $1 into them and he thought he bought them.
No, mate. At that age, it was there weren't. It was like
nothing around.
No, we walked to the shops. So we had the band name, and we started the family dance band, and we were the darlings of the Maltese community.
Oh my
to the
God.
point that we had a #1 hit in Malta when I was 14 with the Singing Priests, with the Fugitives, with the Maltese band. So we were like the Jackson 5 or the Partridge Family of the Maltese community, 100%. And then when I turned 16, it was like, I was into electronics. I was going to do like an electronics course. And then I didn't think I could make a living with making music. And then we got offered a 4-month tour of Queensland and was like, oh, I can make a wage. And so in that 4 months, wrote my first song, lost my virginity, smoked green for the first time. And we hang out with drag queens, and a friend of ours died of a heroin overdose.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like
big
whoa!
time. Learning, life.
Yeah, exactly. And I got my first wage too, so it was like, it was great. Yeah, so I haven't looked back since.
All right, let's get back to ska. How would you describe ska's sound? Because obviously, with all those people, it can't be the same all the time.
Well, I mean, there is a formula, right? And how I'll describe it is, and this is how ska happened, right? And we do pay respect to this formula because it is essentially, why we kind of got together. So in the 50s, a lot of Jamaica, the way that people accessed the music was not via the radio, because the radio was run by the BBC. It was called the JBC, and they used to just play classical stuff and some novelty songs, and it didn't really reflect the sound of the people. So then there was the uptown clubs in Kingston, but they were too expensive for most of the people to go to. So what started happening was these sound systems. Now, sound systems was basically, someone with a turntable and a couple of speakers, either in a backyard or in a yard or in a hall, and they'd sell some drinks and they'd sell some food and they'd make a bit of money. They'd put a gig on. And at these sound systems, they would play a lot of R&B from the States, which was like boogie woogie, which was like dun 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 dun, all this type of music. And the Jamaicans loved it. They were dancing to it and everything. Then this music dried up in the States. And by the time, also at the same time, the Jamaican recording industry, they had radio stations, and so they were saying, hey, we can record some stuff. If we go to the radio station, we can get a tape deck in there, we can record our own music. So when that music dried up, the people still liked that style, that dun, 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 but the Jamaicans wanted their own stamp, their own music. They're going, yeah, well, we can make that type of music, but we're going to do something different with it. It was 1962. It was independence. They just got independence from England. And so there was a lot of hope, a lot of joy, a lot of excitement about their own identity. And so there was a type of music, traditional music in Jamaica, called mento music. Now, the mento music has a heavy emphasis on the last beat of the bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, check, 1, 2, 3, check, 1, 2, 3, check. And it was to do with the work songs, that 1, 2, 3, heave, 1, 2, heave, or 1, 2, 3 in the sugarcane fields, work song related. And then they used to do a lot of, they started mento bands and they started playing to the tourists around the swimming pools and everything, and they would make up songs, make up things very bawdy, very rude, but they would cover it with take your meat from my rice, or my pussy, whatever. Just, it was all kind of, don't touch me tomato, touch me pumpkin, but don't touch me potato. And it was all a double entendre. So with that in mind, when you put the two things together, if you have a ska beat, a swing ska beat, if you count it 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a unda 1 and a 2 and you put the heavy accent on the last beat of the bar, like they used to with mento, you get 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and if you and that backbeat played by the horns, the scatolites especially, that was the essence of ska. Well, that's the formula.
Cool.
So that mathematical formula is the essence of ska. When you slow it down, you get rock steady. When you slow it down even more, you get reggae. So that was the mother seed, and we respect that with the Ska Orchestra. We always give that education on stage. This is the recipe. But the orchestra does a lot of different type of things. So if you needed to know what ska was, that's the essential formula.
And I was going to say, wider fans resonate, but I think if all the members brought a couple of family members, the rooms are sell out anyway. So I'm not sure that fans get to fit in. I mean, by the time you bring someone comes along and says, "Come on,"
no, man, we've got a cut off on the guest list.
Really?
Oh, you have to, otherwise that's exactly right.
Yeah,
no one will get paid.
No one will get paid.
Hey, there's 300 people here. Yeah, they're all fucking relatives, mate. No one fucking.
That's it. All right. That's why we can't get into shoot you. No. The Ballad of Monty Loco, that's the latest album. That's last year. That's still the one you're punching, because it looks like that's what the tour's going out with.
Really special, that album, because it was the first album that we kind of honed in on a brief. Because the orchestra, we were 11 albums, 22 years, we were constantly looking for new ways to play with our genre, which we call international ska or global ska. We're from Australia. Australia's a beautiful multicultural mix, regardless of what Pauline Hanson says. We celebrate that, and from that multicultural mix, there's all the different type of music that happens. I mean, Melbourne especially, there's a lot of Latin, a lot of South American music, a lot of funk, there's a lot of African, and so So we're always looking for things to celebrate that international sound. So when we come to this new album, we thought there's a couple of guys that used to be in this touring band that went all around the world playing the theme songs from spaghetti western films. They would play the soundtrack live. And so we started talking to Pat Cronin, especially. He was the main guy. And we said, why don't we try maybe spaghetti western and ska? You know, can we look start researching that and see what we can do? And we call it Scargetti Western. So we kind of got into the world of, okay, let's listen to the soundtracks for the Fistful of Dollars, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, all the Ennio Morricone films. And we kind of like, yeah, there's a sense of space and mystery and kind of, and there's some certain chords that they used. And so let's see if we can put it together with ska. And so that was our brief. And so we opened it up to all the members of the band, because we have a lot of songwriters in the band. And we go, give us all your ideas, whatever you think, here's the brief. It's like we're writing a soundtrack from a film. The place is called Monte Loco, and the lyric thing is about that we're a bunch of people that are living in this village, and all these outside influences are trying to kind of take us over or influence us, or the baddies, or the missions are coming in, religion or whatever. Well, we have to stand up against this. And so, what are those stories? And so, there was a lot of similarities with what happened in the top end of Australia with the missions, and I found out recently that it was all, when that all happened, the missions were said, okay, Lutherans are going over there, the Protestants over here, Anglicans over here, Catholics, okay. So, and I had a lot of first-hand experience with a lot of mob and what they experienced when they were growing up. And the missions were trying to really superimpose a religious, doctrine over a culture that was already had their own spirituality for 60,000 years. And so that created all these problems. On top of that, you've got the gold. I live in the gold fields, right, in Victoria. And there was a whole thing of like looking for gold, and that whole, it was very Western, it was a lot of connected with the whole kind of cowboys and Indians kind of thing that used to happen, but it was here in Australia. So that was our subject matter. We just lent into that. So it was really beautiful. It was like a university degree in writing a soundtrack for a film. And so we had lots of great ideas, lots of really good songs that come out, and it's a really beautiful collection, to the point that a lot of people are saying, look, that they love the songs, and that also in between each song, we didn't just leave space. We actually created this sense of it was like watching a film, a soundtrack from a film. You could hear the horses, and all the kind of settings, walking into a bar, and the music playing and stopping. So we took a lot of time to do that. Wally Maloney, my co-manager and the trombone player of the band, is great with that. So we experimented with that, which we've never done before. So getting into that world, we realised that the album's got a lot of legs. There's a lot of things that we haven't shown from the album that we just couldn't show on the last tour. So this whole tour, which is Monte Loco Rides Again, is a celebration of more songs that we couldn't play live last time. And also we recorded 13 live tracks from a gig we did in Melbourne, which we've never done before properly. So that's part of we're doing CDs, because that wouldn't all fit on the vinyl.
No.
So we're doing CDs, and also, it's on streaming, which is a whole other topic in itself. But
that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
so what tracks am I going to? Give me a couple of tracks that I'm going to on the album that you think.
On the album, I like No Doubt About It is exactly about that mission thing. The first song, the Brave, the Mean, and the Wild Ones. John Wayne is pretty cool. Again, this whole thing about the states, they're so gun happy, trigger happy. It's like we're living in like in 2026, people. Like let's get on. Humanity. What are we doing? And also everything that's happening overseas with Gaza and the Ukraine. The Wars of Jericho is about how can we employ biblical writings from over 2,000 years ago as a reason to invade another country, and there's a whole big topic there. We get a bit of stick for it, but Ska is about social comment and calling stuff out.
Yeah.
So there's lots of songs there. Like
we'll check it out. Listen, another thing that you're obviously responsible for is when they give you a question to answer and they say 25 words or less. Obviously, they were thinking of you when they thought of that because you you ask you a question and about 10 minutes later, I've got 20 questions to ask and I'm not sure that I'll fit it all in. No, I'm only
Well,
joking. I'm
I'll
only
give you
joking,
five
Nicky.
seconds, 5 second answers. Here we go.
No, I'm only joking. We're getting to that part of it where we are doing 5 second answers soon. But
Okay.
no,
I'll keep it short. Keep it short.
I thought I was a super talker. Obviously, I've met
Well,
my match.
I'm excited about it. I've got lots of things to
No,
talk
no,
about.
no.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, and that's exactly that's Nicky Bomba. If we're
Being,
if we're
being the
talking about
captain of the
Nicky.
band, I mean, I've had to kind of orchestrate all of this stuff.
So
So it's all
so
good.
East Coast only. Like you've
No,
got
no,
this
no,
tour.
no, no. We're doing WA. We're doing Tasmania. We're
I
doing
didn't see that in the
Cairns.
dates.
Yeah, man, it's all there. If you go online, it's all there.
Okay,
We're doing
okay. So you got
Adelaide
it
and
all, and it's
WA as well.
starting in August, going through to
October.
October. So
Yeah.
one of those, mystifying things where so many people leave their houses, kiss their partners, leave the kids to whatever. The people during that few months is wondering how to pay the bills, and
Totally.
they're off playing music and having
Well, I
fun.
mean, and we're doing the same thing. It's a funny band. I mean, we're a lot of the times we have to get musicians from, like when we're playing in Cairns, we're getting mostly Brisbane musicians as part of our team because we can't afford to fly
No, I
them.
get it. I get it. If
So
if you could perform with any music artist, alive or dead, and the dead ones would be alive, obviously, who would you choose? Who would you choose and why?
oh, good question. I mean, I'm going to just say in a hit would be um, Fela Kuti, would be Bob Marley,
Of
and would be
course,
James Brown.
of course, of course. I could see you behind Prince as well as he threw his guitar into the audience,
Oh
but
yeah.
that wouldn't be a bad gig.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and they're obvious choices. I don't really need to know why because they're pretty obvious choices for
Yeah, and they have
someone like.
influenced like James Brown, especially when it comes to funk. No one turned it upside down like he did. No one did. He was
No,
amazing, you know.
no, he was unbelievable, and
Yeah,
people don't realise it
no,
because they
no,
only
no.
see a few bit, a few. The video
And
wasn't so
he
big,
used to, he bought his own
and
radio station.
they think about Michael because Michael does the moonwalk and all this sort of stuff. I mean, James Brown was doing that stuff 20 years before
Oh,
Michael.
totally, totally, totally. And
Um,
Quincy Jones will tell you that.
unbelievable, unbelievable. And Quincy
Yeah,
Jones, oh
yeah,
my
he's a
God, he's
man.
about 90 Grammy nominated.
I know.
Everyone's got, so and so's had 4 Grammy nominations in their career and all this sort of stuff, and he's had 90.
I
I mean,
know.
that's
He's a
it.
big man.
That's an unbelievable situation. Okay, any long-term aspirations still musically?
Oh man, I'm feel like I'm just scratching the surface with so many things. I'm constantly uh, well the long term thing is to be making music and keep on creating and until I go.
Yeah, that's all right. That's
That's
all
it.
right.
That's my aspiration.
With the
Yeah.
2.5-year-old, it mightn't be too long. Um, well, they make you old pretty quick. It's enjoyable, but geez,
No, no,
going
I do a
through
good
another kid that turns 14, another boy or girl.
the little girl.
Oh, well, then you're a bit fortunate.
Oh, yeah, no, she's great.
Okay, piece of advice, and then we're going to finish on some quick questions because I don't want to take up a whole stack more of your time. Piece of advice for people. You've obviously been around a long time. Uh, you've seen you've seen vinyl go to CD, go to streaming, technology, recording. The old Tascam 4 track, and you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
ha-
cool,
and
man.
you can do your own thing. Social media, you can sort of promote yourself
Yeah.
albeit that it's probably like crypto. It's just run by criminals. That's all. Social media is just the
Social
worst.
media is a whole other bag that
The,
I've
the
had to
wor
get my
It's
head
the
around.
worst. It's the
Yeah,
worst. It's the
I
complete
know.
worst. And you only need to know that you can't contact anyone in any of their businesses because they have no contact. It's
No,
like the mafia. So
definitely.
what's the advice? Someone's turning up now. They've got what was it called? They've got uh,
You mean a
fu
musician starting?
fugitive flight You know, they're 15. They've started a band in their backyard.
Okay.
What are you telling them to do? Apart from the obvious, you're going to say is, work hard, enjoy life, and do your own thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I think a big part is just believe in yourself and find your own voice. Right? You can get influenced, but just know that you have got a story that's unique. That's not like anybody else. No one has lived in your shoes. No one has experienced the
No,
same things that you've experienced. And
no,
tap into that. A lot of great stories around you,
yeah,
and just believe in yourself. Don't try to kind of follow trends because you think you're going to make any money.
no, no, no,
Forget
no.
that's it. Like just really, just if you find your own belief and you find your and you'll get a lot of joy out of that. Make music to please yourself, and then if you're 9 times out of 10, if it pleases you, it'll please somebody else.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, here we go. Some quickies. What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Oh, well, I'll tell you right now, about 4 weeks ago, I jumped the fence in Malta and I implanted my arm in a pole.
Oh no.
That was 3 weeks ago, and yesterday I played drums for the first time since then at a gig in Brisbane, and I was okay. I was actually playing guitar 3 days afterwards, but that's the worst thing I've ever done. It was so
Not
stupid.
the worst, the craziest.
Oh, that's
Jumping,
pretty crazy. I
jumping
mean,
a fence.
jumping a fence when I'm 62, when I could have literally walked around the corner and walked into the place.
That's crazy. What's the one topic you can talk about for hours? Everything. I
Uh,
think we worked that out.
music, music,
I think
music.
we worked that out. Anything, anything. What's the thing you like most about yourself? You
I'm
can
quick to
wear a
forgive.
cap on the side and
I'm
get
quick to
away with it.
I'm quick to forgive.
Are you?
Yeah,
Sensational.
for myself as well.
Can you loan me $1,000?
You
I'll,
sure, man? What do you need it for?
I'll never pay you back, but you're quick to forgive, so
That's right.
I'm fine. Okay, current or all time? These are some favourites. Favourite album can be current if you don't want to go all time and commit something
I,
you're listening to.
okay, at the moment, I do have a favourite album. It's one I've just produced by the Ska, Tommy McCook, Dean Hilson. It's on the Transmitter label. Dean Hilson meets does Tommy McCook. It's on. It's. I can't believe it because I don't normally play songs on Spotify that I've recorded, but this album for some reason I'm so proud of it. It's all instrumental. It's called Hilson meets Tommy McCook, and it's just cover versions of the ska stuff. But I loved recording it and mixing it so much that it's like this is what I listen to. So at the moment, that's my favorite album.
First time we've had someone promote their own album when I've asked them that, but that's all right. That's all
So
right.
it's honestly my favorite at the moment.
Favorite artist? You?
Well, I have to say Russ Hannaford.
Oh, really? From the old days? I haven't heard his name for a
Well,
while.
I recorded his first album, his first trio album. That's on my
He's
label too. I played drums in it. That was my first album I ever produced.
he's
And
cool.
he's amazing. He's a guru.
Favorite movie? The Sound of Music.
No, um, being John Malkovich.
Being John Malkovich.
I love that film.
Actually, I like Hader when he's talking to him and he says he's doing John Malkovich to him. He says, that doesn't sound a thing like me. He says, yes, it does. It's
Yes,
exactly like
it
it.
does. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it does. Favorite place to visit? Malta,
Malta.
obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
Of
Malta.
course, that's obvious.
Gozo specifically.
Is that the restaurant or something? Or
Oh, that's the island. There's Malta made
oh,
of 3 islands.
Gozos.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I can't get, like I said, I grew up beside Maltese people and it was, hey, barrack for the
No way, yeah,
bombers.
no way. You have to go down the shop and get some fish and chips. Yeah,
That's
no
it.
way. Yeah,
That's
come
it.
on now.
That's it. It's such a.
I'm
It was,
cooking. I'm cooking rabbit tonight, man. I tell
they'd,
you.
they'd be out. They'd be out front, and they'd have this dog, Joe, gypsy,
Joe, hey,
Joe.
Joey,
Every
Joey. Oh,
time.
Joey, essa. That's why I go inside.
Favorite venue to play. The
Uh,
ESPY's the ESPY's
Red,
pretty cool because of its history. It's
history,
not
Red Rocks.
Have you played Red Rocks?
Yeah, I played it twice.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Who did you play it with?
With John Butler.
Oh, of course, JB.
Yeah, yeah.
What a
I'd love to play that with the orchestra, but that's a beauty.
it's an amazing place. An amazing place. Favorite food?
Rabbit.
No,
I'm cooking it today.
I understand, but it's just, it's like you go out and you probably catch it yourself too, don't
No,
you?
no, no. My local butcher gets it for me, which is fantastic. Which is
Oh,
I
that's
used to, but not anymore.
favorite drink.
It's called a mangari or a campango, right? It's Campari and mango juice. So you can call it what you like, mangari or campango.
You weren't drinking that 40 years ago.
No, I was drinking Kinney Maltese fucking drink.
Of course, of course. Favorite person in history, apart from me.
Apart from you, favorite person in history. No, there's
I know
two.
that you could say. I imagine your dad was a pretty colourful character buying your drums at 9. Most dads wouldn't make that step. I don't
Yeah,
think.
no, it was. I mean, I'm thinking of more like um, people who've had a good
Well, you must have also.
like Rumi's pretty cool. Like the writings of Rumi. I
Yes,
really
yes,
like.
yes. Of course, you must
Yeah,
have
yeah.
had. You must have had some mental health challenges in your life, and because that's the only way. The only way through to consciousness is through the desert. And so, when you're usually coming out, you're trying to find things to read, things to follow, things to.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
who would that have been when
Oh,
you were?
okay, yeah.
Was it a
At the
Tolly
time,
or?
but a bit of Deepak Chopra first,
Yeah, yeah,
and then teachings of the Dalai Lama. But I kind of would cover all those things. I would cover, Sadhguru. That was like
yeah, yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool. I
yeah,
liked his stuff. He taught me the thing about being playful,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and all the
Until
great.
you understand that all wisdom comes from inside, not outside, because
Oh, 100%.
you can't really. It's like French. You can't know it unless it's in there.
Yeah,
So if you see wisdom, it must have been in you in the first place for you to identify it.
exactly.
So basically, you start to say, "Well, then I can do everything myself. So I can find whatever I need to find, and I've
Yeah.
just got to sit and let it come up.
And
A bit
that's very
like
important, like
music.
like you said that about sitting with it, and even
Got to sit.
sitting in the silence is I love it. I mean, I do that often where, there's an orchestra of ideas, an orchestra of thoughts that it's my main thing is I overthink a little bit, so I have to make sure that I don't.
That meditation will help that because
Yeah,
what
but
meditation does,
I write.
what meditation does is it basically it teaches the body to stop. And so as the mind goes, it doesn't get assistance from the body because the body's calm. And so usually when the mind goes, the rest of the body starts to arc up and churn and do whatever because it's not used to understanding to stop. So I would suggest meditation, dude. And you obviously are clean skin. You haven't got a tattoo, have you?
Got one tattoo, which is
Have
my
you?
philosophy, which is over here, and it says, you can see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It says JIEM,
Yeah.
which is jar or guide, whatever you want to call it, in every moment.
Fantastic. When did you get that?
I got that when I got divorced. And see the spiral
When did you get divorced? How long ago?
to 20, 25 years ago, whatever. I was married for 18 years.
I
But
was
see the
married for 18 years and and I got divorced.
spiral, see the spiral?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. So I got that spiral because I'm always a believer in expanding energy.
Yeah.
So when my father saw the tattoo, he said, "How did you know to get the emblem of where you were born?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "That's the emblem of your village. You were born in Malta." I
No
went, "No way."
coincidences, Nicky. No coincidences.
You know,
Meant to be. That's it, man. That's it. We're done. We're done.
okay. All right.
We'll have to do this again. I'm gonna start a podcast at some stage based on trying to just I'd love to develop a movement and the movement from a bottom up perspective. We've got a top down world
Yeah.
where everyone, because they've created television and phones and all this sort of stuff to sort of separate the community so
Yeah.
that they think they have no power. If
Yeah.
everyone at the bottom decided to make a decision, Musk would be broke overnight. Everything would stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no one has the confidence to do so, and everyone's got some sort of a pursuit that they're after. They think that the doing is the be all. And so they're all trying to find a better place when the only place that exists is here.
Totally.
So there is no better place. It's only in your mind. And so if you stop, every moment's your better place. So
Yeah.
every step,
And
every
that's how you can slow down time, I
that's how
think.
you can slow it down. So if I start to get that going, I'll yell out. I think I said that last time when we didn't talk, but I will. I'll yell out, and you can be a conduit for it. Because ultimately, I want it to also to be, from a muso point of view, a lot of musos that support each other.
Yep.
Because basically, they're going out to try and find social media followers, and
Oh,
none of them are committed.
I,
Whereas if
I,
they found their own
yeah.
fans, it's like turn your fans into advertisers. That's how you make a
And
career.
that's very true. That world is so beyond me. But I got a studio in Bali recently, and I was there, and while I was there, I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I went to my phone, and I got rid of all my social media. I got rid of Facebook,
Yeah,
Instagram,
yeah, yeah,
everything, right? And
yeah,
it took me 3 days. I had withdrawals, but after that, I got my. I mean, I have those accounts because I have it. I realize that that's just a way that to access people. And I employ people
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
do all that type of thing. But personally, and I write. I keep a journal, right? And that's my kind of my meditation. I have conversations with myself, and and quick forgiveness with all of that, and it's beautiful. It's also the way I've told my children to deal with problems.
yeah, yeah,
Is write it out, get it out of your head. The
yeah,
head's fucking.
yeah, yeah,
It's a dirty fucking washing machine. That
yeah.
so. Um, so that writing, I've got to go.
Bali.
I've got the next thing from Adelaide.
All right.
All right.
Sorry, man. Sorry to
No,
keep it
no,
so
no.
long.
Good. Love talking to you, brother.
Same,
Anytime.
same.
I'll get it and I'll just hold it. Hello, hello. Yeah, one moment. I'll just hang up from the other phone. Two, two, 2 seconds. Okay, okay.
See you, champ.
See you,
Love,
brother.
love the chat. Love catching up.
Bless you, man.
Look forward to the next one. Take care.
Okay.
Have a great tour.